I'm Ron Osborne, and I approve this message. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
More run, more run, more run, more run, more run.
Imagine a town where there are no small joints, just small stoners, where Kush is a girl's best friend, and law-breaking is the new liberty. It's the Hollywood Hemptress Hour, hosted by your honey blonde Hemptress, Terry Joyce. Yeah!
Hi, welcome to Hollywood Hemptress Hour. We have a great show today. The video that you just saw in the very opening, the actor in that is Ron Osborne. He's a very funny comedian. He resides here up in the Northwest, and he's going to be here later on in the show as our special guest. Today we have a wonderful, a topic that I have been very interested in lately. And I have spread out this topic in some of these social networks out there on Facebook and on Twitter, and asked for some people to actually call in today. The topic that we are going to discuss today is, do certain substances like cannabis, psilocybin, ayahuasca, and DMT speed up our evolution? See, now when I social networked this question, it had a bit of controversy around them. Some of them I put them in the marijuana forums, some of them were in the New Age forums, and I found that depending on a person's upbringing, culture, religion, and which anti-drug commercial and campaigns that you may have grown up with, the possibility that illegal substances may cause us to see the light and speed up our evolution spiritually, culturally, and perhaps even physically is a hard pill to swallow. If you asked me this question 10 years ago, I may have been more fearful and close-minded on the subject matter. But one day I toked that fateful joint where I realized, oh my God, we are droned into mass consumerism manipulated by the media. And we, culturally and politically, are controlled by our religious institutions. Fuck me. Let there be a dawn of a new day. Being that we in America live in a culture where Big Pharma encourages Ritalin, Prozac, and Viagra for whatever ails us, the illegal substances that the Nixon administration deems as a Class 1 drug are the drugs that the youth culture at the time, which was a culture that through hallucinogens peered into infinite love and peace and decided to stand up against the war agenda of our own government. They wrote amazing music, poetry, and great art. They came together in love and solidarity to create an outer world that they witnessed in their inner world, were these ancient plants that they ingested, and also some of it was acid. Now, does anybody remember a 70s TV movie called Go Ask Alice? Well, you can't ask Alice because she's dead. She died on drugs. Oh, and I even read the book. You know, I don't know if you remember the commercials, you know, this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Well, let's update that commercial. This is your brain. This is your brain on Big Pharma. And make sure that you take the drugs and play some really violent video games while you're doing it. Even in Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, Alice eats some cakes and ingests some liquid, and that causes her to meet a caterpillar toking from a hookah on a giant mushroom. where in her rabbit hole journey, she is fearless against the aristocracy with the simplicity of a child's mind. I'm reading here. Give me a moment. Where's my teleprompter? Graham Hancock, who is a British writer and journalist who specializes in unconventional theories involving ancient civilizations, monoglyphs, and altered states of consciousness, proclaims, "We live in an insane society that wants to control our consciousness, not only to tell us how to behave publicly, but actually what to think and experience. And it is the main objection to marijuana by our own government. It is the effect that it has on our consciousness. They are afraid of a sinistery of consciousness because they are not prepared to answer the questions we have at this time." Terence McKenna is an American philosopher, a researcher, a teacher, a lecturer, and a writer on many subjects such as human consciousness, language, psychedelic substances, the evolution of civilization, and the origin and the end of the universe, alchemy, and extraterrestrial beings. He pontificates that culture is our operating system, and through the ingestion of these ancient plants, our cultural operating system is wiped clean, and something older, something more in touch with the animal soul, replaces who we are. This is true nakedness. When you shed the cultural operating system, you stand naked before the inspection of our own psyche. Desmond Morris calls it the naked ape. He advises that the best way to change our cultural operating system is to take some magic mushrooms, ayahuasca, and DMT to upgrade the software of our conscious awareness, and that the shamans have known this for centuries. This is where they had an edge over the rest of the tribe. We are going to take a break right now, and next will be Dejay Kuti with the Compassion Flower Report. But first, I want to show a comedy clip of the late, great Bill Hicks, who actually was influenced by Terence McKenna and the naked ape theory when he did this routine on drugs and evolution. So let's take a moment with Bill Hicks.
Why is marijuana against the law? It grows naturally upon our planet. Doesn't the idea of making nature against the law seem to you a bit paranoid? You know what I mean? It's nature. How do you make nature against the fucking law? Grows everywhere, serves 1,000 different functions, all of them positive. To make marijuana against the law is like saying God made a mistake. You know what I mean? It's like God on the seventh day looked down at his creation.
There it is, my creation, perfect and holy in all ways. Now I can rest. Oh my me. I left fucking pot everywhere. I should never have smoked that joint on the third day. That was the day I created possums. Still gives me a chuckle. If I leave pot everywhere, that's going to give humans the impression they're supposed to use it. Now I have to create Republicans. And God wept. I believe it's the next verse.
You know what I mean? I believe that God left certain drugs growing naturally upon our planet to help speed up and facilitate our evolution. Okay, not the most popular idea ever expressed. Either that or you're real high and agreeing with me in the only way you can right now. I forgot the code. Is it 2 blinks yes, 1 blink no? Do you think magic mushrooms growing atop cow shit was an accident? Where do you think the phrase, "that's good shit," came from? Why do you think Hindus think cows are holy? Holy shit. Why do I think McDonald's is the Antichrist? That's God's little accelerator pad for our evolution. Because think about this, man. For billions of years, sorry, fundamentalists, we were nothing but apes. Probably too stupid to catch a cow, you know. I think we can go to the moon. That is exactly how it fucking happened.
Thank you for hanging in there. We have a Dujay Coupe, God, I can't speak today. We have Dujay Coupe online with the Patient Advocacy Network. Also, she's going to give us the Compassion Flower Report today, letting us know what's going on in Southern California. Before we bring her online, I do want to give a shout out to botanicalguides.com. If you want to find out about any of these types of plants, like ayahuasca or magic mushrooms or cannabis, and a lot of other different kinds of herbs, that you want to do some research on and find out how to get them, check out this particular website. So I just want to give a shout out to them. So, Dujay, are you there?
I'm here, Terry. How are you?
I'm actually doing quite well. You know, it's a fantastic thing. Our subject matter today is, does mushrooms and ayahuasca and cannabis speed of our evolution? Does it have anything to do with our conscious spiritual evolution? What do you think about that today?
Oh, absolutely. No, I think cannabis, certain strains, certain, terpenes and cannabinoids in certain levels can definitely cause a very mild hallucinogenic effect for people that they have said is has been life-changing for them. For everybody, it hasn't had to be like a really intense trip like ayahuasca or mushrooms or LSD. People have definitely opened up their mind and consciousness by simply smoking a good sativa joint.
Well, at least with a cannabis, you're not going to like throw up in order to trip, right? I mean, it's
true. That's very true.
Yeah, and you do kind of like pretty much like stay in this particular realm. Although one time I had a friend of mine made some brownies that they both had like about an 8, I think, of cannabis in each brownie. And I actually did trip where I didn't know that marijuana could do that for you. And when it was all done, like I think smoke came off of my ears, and I was a completely changed person. I had like I had a different head going on.
No, absolutely, and that's what the psychedelic experience does. It's a personal spiritual awakening.
Well, I know sometimes being at your house, you roll one of those like big old tampon joints that we smoke, and that's near be there before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll open up your third eye.
That's right. That's right. You're really, and I saw it like on your Facebook that you injured your hand, but you said that you could still like roll a really great joint.
Yeah, I was a little concerned. I had pinched my hand. I mean, I'm really lucky. I could have injured it a lot more than I did. But, my thumb was really swollen, and I wasn't using it much. And, you need kind of that whole thumb-finger action when you roll a joint. And I was concerned, how am I going to be able to roll a joint? I don't think I can do it one-handed. But, yeah, I was able to do it and relieve my pain and suffering.
God, that's amazing. You're my hero. I mean, like I'm gonna go. Hey, one day I'll roll a joint as good as Dujet.
It just takes practice,
right?
Determination. Yeah, and it is. It's one of those things where medicating by using a joint. Even though I've tried all kinds of different methods and was concerned about the smoking aspect, it's just I'm a pain patient and. Smoking a joint alleviates pain for me better than any other method and any other medicine.
Oh, I enjoy a good joint too. So now, what's been going on? Is there any new news that's happening down in Los Angeles? I know we're having.
Yeah. Well, let me let everybody know what's going on. Let me first just encourage all of our listeners to go to CannabisSavesLives.org and sign up for email updates so that people can get some general information from us. And of course, our Twitter is @PAN4Compassion, PAN 4 Compassion, and I throw up updates there as well. And I certainly encourage everyone to make a donation. I'll talk more about what's going on here in Southern California, but we certainly need support because a lot of our people here are being hit hard by what's going on. And just kind of to start the Compassion Flower report, I went down the street this morning and grabbed a cup of coffee and walked over to the CNN building just to catch some of the news headlines. And as you know, I don't have a television, so sometimes I seek out to see what's going on with the popular media. And I'm watching the different headlines ticker below, and it says, federal government attacks California's marijuana industry. Was one of the headlines on CNN today. And I mean, they didn't go any further. They were just throwing up everything that's major news. But yeah, that's like a major national headline now around the country is the way the federal government has been attacking California. We've got multiple dispensaries that have been shut down in San Francisco, and we've got some of the landlords up there actually facing foreclosure motions from the federal government on property. Just last week, the federal government dropped those landlord threat letters on about 60 different entities in the Anaheim, Santa Ana area of Orange County. And the other thing that we had, of course, the thing that I've been keeping everybody up to date, and we'll talk about that as well, is this whole ban that has been passed in Los Angeles that's supposed to start taking effect on September 6th. In the interim, what the LA City Council has done is they have passed yet another motion asking for help from the district attorney's office as well as the DEA to come in and help the LAPD shut down the dispensaries in Los Angeles. So now we've got our city government asking for assistance from the federal government in thwarting our state law and patients' rights. What's happening with the ban is, of course, the mayor signed that, and that's supposed to go into effect, meaning that the city can begin enforcement upcoming here on September 6th. However, the two things that have been going on in tandem here in Los Angeles is a lot of dispensaries, maybe 3 or 4 dozen at the very least, maybe more, maybe in the hundreds. Sometimes when you hear news reports and people are talking like, oh, I've got so many clients that are going to file, whatever, it's not real until people actually file. So there could be anywhere from maybe, at least 3 or 4 dozen to maybe up to a couple hundred dispensaries that have or are going to very shortly. Some people I think are going to file right before the 6th kind of thing. There's some strategic timing going on with some of these legal cases. But yeah, that we have all these lawsuits. And then, of course, we have a coalition of industry insiders and lobbyists who have gathered signatures for a petition to put forth a voter referendum to stop the ban. And both are noteworthy because, of course, if the judge starts to issue temporary restraining orders and or injunctions, as we're starting to see in Long Beach against LA's ban, and we've got enough signatures on a voter referendum, it will halt enforcement on anybody and stop the city from shutting people down, which is exactly why I believe that the city council is frustrated and has asked for federal intervention, because they know, theoretically, that the medical marijuana community has Los Angeles by the balls right now.
Oh, well, that sounds good. I hope that actually really happening, and it's exciting today to see our community take action, and that we do have options still.
We do. We have a lot of options, and and like I said, the nice thing, like I said, that there are lawsuits as well as the referendum, is the referendum isn't, I mean, like I said, it's good for halting enforcement for the time being, but ultimately the referendum has to go on the ballot and go before the voters of Los Angeles, where it will inevitably lose. The city, there's such voter apathy in LA that the people who will come out and vote will be the ones who want to vote for the ban and against overturning it. And those people will come out. But at least, like I said, in the interim, if they've turned in their signatures, and we don't know if they've qualified yet, but if they've qualified, it'll at least stop enforcement until next spring's election, because it won't be on the November ballot. It'll be on the ballot in the spring here in LA. So it will halt enforcement until it goes before the voters. And until then, all kinds of other legal things are going to happen. And I still haven't completely written off the idea that LA really needs to just put its own ordinance in place, because the city council is not going to do it. The unfortunate thing in LA is the coalition of people who gathered the signatures for the referendum are the same people who support the limited immunity ban. They're the people who feel that, this group of like 50 to 70 dispensaries should be the only dispensaries in the city that get to operate. They should get grandfathered in with little to no accountability, and everybody else in the city is banned. Of course, my approach and what I've been talking about is we just need to give everybody who's operating a fair hearing. If collectives have to come forward and, one, show they're in the right zone, get a stamp of approval from planning and zoning. They have to prove that their building is up to code. There's no weird wiring or fire hazards. It's a safe place. And then they have to get a stamp of approval from building and safety. Then everybody who's in a position of authority and management and so forth in the dispensary has to go to the LAPD and get the stamp of approval with a background check. And then they have to get a stamp of approval from the Office of Finance showing that we've got our seller's permit, we've got our business license, we've got our tobacco accessories permit, we're taking care of local and state taxes, etc. And once you jump through those hoops, then you should be able to have a fair public hearing on your local government level, like the neighborhood council level that has their own planning commissions, and you sit down and you work out the details. It's no different than when you go by a building and you see that sign on the door that says notice for request for variance, and it tells you when the hearing date is. And it basically is very similar to the process that they do in San Francisco. And the neighbors and the dispensary and the patients have a hearing to hash out the details of the license. And you know what? People who are criminal, people who don't want to pay taxes, people who can't pass a live scan, aren't going to jump through the hoops and they're going to disappear. I'm hearing those dispensaries are closing already. And everybody who wants to stay can go through this process. And to me, if you're one of these blessed, sacred, pre-ICO dispensaries, then that's part of your argument when you have your public hearing that, hey, I've been here 7 years. without one complaint and one problem. That should be a huge leg up as opposed to, I opened 2 weeks ago, nice to meet everybody.
Wow. Well,
you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, that's going to be what I think is going to come down, interestingly enough, this spring is, yeah, we've got this ban in place now, and we've got a lot of lawsuits going after the city. There are going to be people, I think, who are going to sue the city for passing this motion to ask for federal interference. I have a feeling there are going to be a lot of lawsuits flying, and then, of course, the medical marijuana community is going to need to figure out, it's this interesting split, Terry, between those pre-ICO dispensaries that think that they've got some right over everybody else and only them, as opposed to we've got certain privileges that, should make us look good when we come up for a hearing. It's just, no, we just need to get grandfathered in, and everybody else needs to close because it's cutting into our business.
I wanted to, we're going to have to keep going here because I've got a fabulous community coming in. We're running at a bit of time at the moment, but is there any final summation that you have on what is going on, and as well as what can the common person, say for instance, person who cares about the cannabis laws, who cares about the dispensary cleanup, but what can we do to make this a difference on this subject?
Well, I think number one, what everybody can do is save the date, October 7th, Sunday. We're having Kush Day LA, where we're going to have guest speakers and panels and a whole educational forum for free from noon to 4:20. People can come be part of that, and we'll be 1 month into this execution of the ban. And I think that 30-day period is going to give us a real flavor of where we're at. We'll know if this referendum is qualified. Some people will probably have already had their first hearings with the judge. And we'll know a lot more. And it's an opportunity for people to come celebrate cannabis. There is a medicating area. It's open to the public. It's free between noon and 4:20. And then after that, it's $10 if people buy their ticket online, or $20 at the door. And we've got Yuck Mouth and a whole other lineup of artists that will be entertaining us that evening. Of course, I'll be working with you and other of our PAN board members, putting events together that day as well. And people can get involved by coming to that and then signing up for updates. It's really about knowledge and information.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for definitely being on the show today. And for all the listeners out there too, that if you make a donation to,
I really need. I wouldn't ask if I didn't need it.
Hey, cannabissaveslives.org. Make a donation.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. Terry, thank you so very much. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon.
Wonderful. Thank you. That was Jay Kursey with the Patient Advocacy Network, also giving us the Compassion Flower Report here on Hollywood Hemptress Hour. We're going to come right back with comedian Ron Osborne in just a moment. Right now, check out a little PSA of Ron Osborne.
This is Earth. This is Portland, Oregon. Just to the north of Portland, nestled in the woods on the Salmon Creek, you can find Quiet Acres, the sprawling estate of Ron Osborne. Ron made his fortune as a stand-up comedian, winning the prestigious Seattle International Comedy Competition and performing for our troops overseas. As an actor, he's appeared in over 100 commercials, like The Trunk Monkey, and has trained in improv, writing, character, and sketch with the world-famous Groundlings in Los Angeles. But the secret to his success has been hard work and clever negotiation. Ron is also a rugged outdoorsman who enjoys working on his land, barbecuing with friends, and tossing in a line every once in a while, as well as primitive fishing. Nice try, Ron. A certified yoga master, trained at the Shivananda Yoga Vedantic World Headquarters, Ron takes care of his body, mind, and spirit. He eats healthy organic bananas while dressed in a suit, enjoys running in the forest, doing unassisted pull-ups, and for fun, he plays frisbee and hacky sack. Ooh, good one, Ron. Ron is also an avid reader of philosophy who meticulously showers his body at least once each and every day. Most mornings, you can find Ron at the water's edge, contemplating for hours with a stick in his hand, looking at the clouds for inspiration. He also enjoys singing with friends and burning sage. Aho, matakwiyase! Some of his friends include babies and senior citizens. Ron also volunteers at homeless shelters, helping junkies kick the smack. With such a balanced and well-rounded lifestyle, is it any wonder that Ron Osborne is one of the most sought-after performers in the country today? Hi everybody, it's me, Ron. I just wanted to take a quick second to personally invite you to
watch all of my humorous videos on YouTube, free of charge.
So, don't forget that
you can hire me to perform. Visit website for more information.
Alright, well I hope to see you guys there. Have a great day. Anybody fooling? Anybody feel that fooling?
We're back, and we're back on the show. Thank you for staying tuned in. I have one of my favorite comedians, and a good friend. He's done the Dope Show before when I did the Dope Show here in Portland with Jeffrey Peterson. He's called in a few times on Normal Show Live. Great character actor. He's been on certain shows as Grimm and Leverage recently. And I'd like to welcome to the show Ron Osborne.
Well, hi, Terry.
Hi.
Thank you. I've been on an audition for Grimm.
Oh,
I haven't been on Grimm yet.
You haven't booked Grimm yet.
I was on Leverage.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was
All
on
right,
Leverage.
Right. So Ron, you are, you know, we've worked together a few times. I think you're a very funny comedian.
Yeah, and I don't know how I'm going to follow DeJay because she was funny. I was watching that going, how am I going to follow that? Big laughs with her.
Right,
that was
right.
Good stuff.
Well, you know, DeJay's not really a comic. She's just
She's a natural then.
Right,
she
really?
should
Yeah,
be.
she should be. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll definitely give her the you know, tell her to, you know, that you endorse her. So now you are an interesting comedian. You've done stand up, but you also are involved with yoga. You teach yoga.
Yes.
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 And so how long have you been a yoga instructor?
Well, I've been doing comedy for 27 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been doing yoga for 28 years. Started before I did comedy.
Oh.
And actually, I've been doing it my whole life because I think people, especially in the West, they think yoga, oh, it's stretching exercises. That's such a tiny little part of it. You know, yoga means union, to yoke. So union with God or fill in your blank.
Right.
You know, so God, it's one of those loaded terms, you know, God. Because everyone has a different name for God. But it's when people get caught up in this idea that, okay, say you're in a desert and you're dying of thirst, water, water, and someone goes, agua? You don't go, whack! Get that agua out of my face! I want water!
Right.
So it's just semantics. It's the same thing. Water is agua. It's the same thing. So union with that, capital T.
Union. Okay, so so now would you say that your yoga influences your comedy, or does you know, is there a melding of the two worlds for you?
It's weird, you know, because they're such different things, but I found the longer that I've been doing comedy, the more the yoga comes onto the stage, especially when it comes from in here, because I'm more peaceful now and I have that quiet inside point, so that my intent when I do a comedy show is, of course, to get laughs, but at the same time there's an underlying thing, which is kind of putting out that light, you know, that channeling that idea through there, because laughter is happy, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Some comedians are, very negative. You know
Angry.
what I hate?
Yeah.
Everything. It's
Yeah.
like, hey man, you can even say I hate everything, but have the idea of shining the laughter out there, and so that's a union.
Well, you can't. I mean, I believe that you can bring a light to whatever you're talking about, even if the subject matter is something not quite as socially acceptable, or is pointing out a certain flaw that's going on in our society, or maybe something that even is rather difficult for people to even look at.
Right.
It's the shining of the light that makes it better. So now you have a little keyboard here, and I didn't know that you actually play.
I do
stuff.
a little kirtan.
You do, okay.
That's call and response Sanskrit chanting. But I can also do some Catholic songs on here too, or some Muslim songs or Hebrew songs. It's when people get hung up on here. Okay, have you played that game, Telephone, where you whisper, something in a circle and it goes all the way around?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. By the time it gets around that circle of the world, it's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. We're all talking about the same thing. It's just people want to fight about, I call it this and you call it that. It's just like comedians who are like, well, if you want to be a comedian, you need to write 3 hours a day and you need to do this, and this. Like, no. You need to write 3 hours a day. You need to do this, and this. You don't need to convert me to your religion. Well, maybe you do need to convert me to your religion to feel better, because people aren't sure what they're doing with, things like abstract things like comedy or religion and these sort of things. So when they have a faith or a belief that might not be founded in like some pure fact, if they're really just throwing out the faith and the belief, it kind of is scary if others aren't believing it, because that's like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Well, now I'll have to kill everyone who doesn't believe me, jihad or crusade.
Well, and I think that real growth actually really happens when you ask yourself that question. You go, oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm not really, because what is really wrong or right anyways? I mean, a lot of times it's like if you believe something, then obviously to you it's true.
Yeah.
And yet if you said, well, there's one belief system that obviously works for some people, but maybe over here there's another way of looking at something, and that also has truth as well. One thing I've noticed for myself, I like especially with the Beatles. I think that the Beatles were one of the first people musically that brought the sound of India to rock and roll,
right.
With George Harrison working with the sitar and stuff like this.
Right.
I'm finding myself more and more drawn to Indian culture and Sanskrit. So would you play a little something
Okay.
that would be kind of
Very good.
Oh, thank
Have
you.
you heard Namaste?
Yes.
You know what that means?
The light that I see in you is the light that I see in myself.
Right, roughly, or the Christ in me acknowledges the Christ in you. That would be a Christian way to interpret it.
I like the other way. I'm more comfortable. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't believe in Christianity. Well,
right. But again, it is. It's semantics. It's
right.
Because people do get uncomfortable with a different type of language. Like, I prefer to call it this, or I prefer to call the unnameable thing without any form,
the abyss,
this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey man, we're just anything we can name, because there's a big yoga thing. They call it neti neti. Not this, not that. So anything that I can say, if I'm trying to anthropomorphize, I'm not sure how to conjugate that, but I'm trying to anthropomorphize God, and it's like, well, anything I can say, well, God is this. No, that can't be it, because I'm putting a human thing on it.
Right.
So.
Is Rupert Deglow making symbols right
Rupert?
now too?
Is that his name?
Yeah. Rupert.
He does not look like a Rupert. But all these names are signposts. And they're in the Lord's Prayer, it says, "Hallowed be thy name." That means the name is holy. There's
Okay,
it's too holy to even say. We're
Ryan,
just pointing to it.
You know what I heard about the Lord's Prayer? That it comes from an ancient religion called the religion of Mu. Which is from Mu, M-U,
okay.
which is basically what they say Christ was really teaching was the language of Mu, which was from the not the Atlantean time, but the Lemurian. If there's some people who believe that particular time period didn't really exist. exist, but there was a society of Lemurians that, and so the
Lemurs?
lemurs, yeah, like the little
running
animal,
around with little hands,
yeah, little hands, and going, but they basically that was like the Lord's Prayer actually derived from that particular civilization. That's what I read recently.
And wherever it did come from, what's the idea behind it? Because I went to Catholic school, so Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee, you're just doing it, right?
The music.
Yeah.
Hey, play a Catholic song.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Okay, I'll have to switch to an organ. Wait, wait, one more down. There it is. Oh yeah. Let's see. In heaven the blessed your glory proclaim. On earth we your children invoke your sweet name. Ave, Ave, Ave Maria. Ave, Ave Maria. Mary, Mother of Jesus, symbolic. Mate Rupert wants to hear Amazing Grace.
Really?
Amazing Grace. I'd have to practice it. I don't know how to read music. I just play by
ear.
Yeah,
by
yeah.
ear.
Okay, here's a Sanskrit one for you, right?
All right.
Wait, back down to the. We had to go to harmonium. Triambakam yajamahe sugandim pushtivaranam varukamiva bandhanam mrityor mukshim amritat. Join me now. Triambakam yajamahe sugandim pushtivaranam varukamiva bandhanam mrityor mukshim amritat. One more time. Triambakam yajamahe sugandim pushtivaranam varukamiva bandhanam mrityor mukshim amritat. There's a lot more. But you know this part probably. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Om Bolo Satguru Shivananda Maharaja Ki Jai. Om Bolo Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaja Ki Jai. All right.
Oh man, I already feel better.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to add. So our subject matter today, and this is why I wanted, because I felt something from you. I go, who am I going to call to do this show that would be willing to be experimental about different religions and spirituality, and also include the possibility of mushrooms and cannabis, and because the Indians, from India. I'm talking about like India.
Oh, right.
They also included cannabis, like I don't know if
right, like Shiva, you see him smoking.
Yeah,
the
and
ganj.
and for enlightenment, which so I mean, how do you feel about that particular topic?
Well, according to yoga, it's drugs are another thing to get you trapped and wrapped up in this whole thing.
Okay. Because
people can have these mind-opening experiences, but it's just another distraction. So because, for example, like in yoga, they say if you do meditation and all these sort of things, that you will get these powers. They call them siddhis. Siddhis, I believe. But they say, don't take the siddhis. If you have the powers to do these different powers because you've meditated so much, they say, don't use it because you're going to get wrapped up and then you have more desires and you want to come back to have another life on Earth. And that's the same way with these drugs that we're using. We're seeing different things, but it's still part of the Maya, or the illusion, which is not a negative thing. It's also the Leela, which is the play of God. So even though it's an illusion, it's still play. So we're playing when we do some drugs or something like that. We're still playing around in the field, which we're in the field, but that is beyond the field.
But what if you, say for instance, like meditation takes you there, dancing takes you there, certain,
golf for some people,
maybe golf, like can get you into this particular eye-opening experience, the zone of what that is. What if you were to use it what if the plants existed just to kind of create that opening for people who maybe not have had that experience? Once you have the experience, or you use it for the specific reasons sometimes, not to become a person who becomes addictive or abusive to the particular plant that they are using these particular things to be a part of. And you're raising your hand I'm one of those people. I mean...
No, in that case, okay, I'll come back to that, because I always take things, once we get into the yoga subject, I always go to the ultimate, to the infinite. I'm taking it to the next level. Because there's another big thing in yoga, they call it Vedantic philosophy, because the Vedas are these very holy books that the Hindus have. But they say once you get to a point when you're enlightened, Vedanta means the end of the Vedas. You don't need them anymore. There was this one guy, Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, and they would say, what about the Bible? What about the Quran? What about the Vedas? What about all these books? He says, throw them in the garbage. You don't need them anymore. You need them to get there to a point, because when you have a map to get somewhere, you need a map to get somewhere, but once you're there, you don't need the map anymore.
Right. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can see that philosophy.
So, like, I won't take acid ever again. I did it when I was young, because it's like, okay, I know where that's at.
Right.
I know how to get there. It's weird sometimes, Shrooms, I would do some shrooms again, I think. I rarely will do that. And cannabis, I'm a medical marijuana patient in Washington.
I have just recently done some mushrooms. About a couple weeks ago.
I'm going to say just a couple hours ago. You're holding it together. Great.
Thank you. I'm good, aren't I? No, I did.
Your lizard friend is not being so cool. Can you take it down a notch?
That freaks me out. All right. On that note, we're going to take a break and show another reel of the wonderfully talented, charming Ron Osborne, and then we'll be back
with throw that in there.
And he's well hung.
I'm proportionate to my height.
Okay, so now I can't think anymore. The visual was not good. Especially, I'm not sure. He's wearing this thing. I mean, are you commando or what?
No,
you got pants on. You got pants on. Okay.
Pants.
All right. I'm like,
for now.
Where's my glasses? I mean,
what kind of show is this? We can.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Get some ratings on this, baby.
Well, it is internet. So we will come back with Ron Osborne after more Ron Osborne.
Chip Finkel, and welcome back to the Life's Good News Network. In this hour, we'll travel to Arkansas to meet Bobby Montoya, the 10-year-old daredevil who's perfected a jetpack fueled by Diet Pepsi and Mentos. And visit with our own Sally Schuster, who will be teaching us how to crochet with our feet. But first, let's go to field correspondent Sheila Gutterman.
Hi, Chip.
Sheila, have you ever tried to crochet with your feet?
No, Chip. I'm afraid I can't do that. My toes are all thumbs.
Ooh, mildly disturbing image. So, what do you have for us today, Sheila?
Oh, I'll be treating our viewers to report on LG's new sleek and beautiful freestanding electric ovens and slide-in ranges. As you probably know, Chip, most double ovens are built-ins, but LG offers a double oven range that's quite smart.
I did not know that.
A whopping 6.7 cubic feet. Plus, LG offers InfraGrill.
And what does that do, Sheila?
Ever notice how professional chefs will sear meat before they cook it?
Yes, why is that?
Well, searing locks in the natural flavors.
Yummy.
Listen to what people are saying about LG electric ranges and ovens.
I want an oven that I can do several things at the same time with.
Makes me want to go home and make a roast. Or a turkey. Speaking of which, back to you, Chip. Chip, what are you doing?
I'm crocheting a pot holder with my feet, Sheila. It's really not that difficult once you get the hang of it. I could make you a hat. Oh, well, suit yourself. Remember to always recommend LG products to your customers, or I'll post a picture of Gutterman's feet on your Facebook page.
Hey, I've got nice feet.
Yeah, with those weird little thumb toes of yours. Until next time, keep it right here on the Life's Good News Network. I'm Chip Finkel. Anybody fooling? Anybody feel that fooling?
You guys still there?
Yeah, we're still here. Okay, we are back with.
Flexible, huh?
Yeah.
See that?
You know what? You've got to practice feet, Ron. Actually. Oh wow! Now he's showing off. You know.
Yeah, I was checking to make sure I wasn't lying about it earlier.
All right. We have a caller online. We have Tyler Flack from Australia. How are you today?
Hi.
From Australia.
Yeah,
Are you there?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great, and welcome to the show. And thank you for calling in today, Tyler Flack. Yeah. Oh, Tyler. Oh, Tyler needs to speak up louder. Like that's Rupert Decla back there.
You don't hear me.
Well, you know, love your accent, Tyler. I just have to say, very, very nice. So what do you feel about cannabis and hallucinogens opening up your third eye?
Difficult. It's a difficult conversation.
Uh-huh.
I might throw this to my friend Azza, my friend Jack, who's an actual Australian. An actual Australian.
What are you?
What do you, Ron Osborne asked what?
You're not an actual Australian?
No, I'm American from. I live in Australia and I'm American though.
You dirty traitor.
So now your friend that you had, that's the actual Australian, do they have more experience with using hallucinogenics?
No, we all have a bit of an experience. But he has a lot to say about it, and this is why I wanted him to have this conversation.
Well, introduce now. What's your friend's name?
His name is Jack.
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 Yeah.
Jack, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Hey.
It's very bewildering.
Well,
being on the radio, I suppose. But
well, there's probably not that many people listening right now, so don't worry about it. So what? How do you feel about? Have you used certain? Have you done mushrooms or DMT or anything like that? And had any type of like eye-opening experience? What was your experience like?
Well, I don't think I haven't had DMT before, but this year I experimented quite a bit with the shrooms, and I don't know, I sort of found at stages I was like getting so involved in what like theories I was coming up with in my own head that I was confusing myself, and I went into like a major state of just thinking too much. Do you know what I mean? It's like I sort of it definitely like changed the way I've looked at things for like the last 6 months. I suppose I've been able to say like take a step back and go, well, maybe what I'm doing is a bit hot-headed. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like it's given me maybe a perspective to look at that usually I haven't had before.
Have you done anything drastic? I mean, have you like quit your job or anything like that?
No. I actually got a job.
Oh, you got a job?
Yeah, I went and got a job.
Doing what?
I actually looked back and sort of decided that, I wanted massive change in my life, and decided that maybe move over to the States next year. So, get a job. Moving back. Yeah, I'm going to move back over with Stella.
So you did mushrooms, you got a haircut and a job and went back to school, and you're coming to the States. So that's the opposite of what happens here. Maybe it's because of the hemispheres.
Yeah, it's like the toilet.
Yeah, flush the toilet.
Flush the opposite way.
Is that real?
Well, you know,
that's no joke.
I had kind of an opposite experience where I decided that I wanted to go to India. So I'm like, I might shave my head. No, that's not going to happen. I don't do any where I have to shave my hair to wear clothes I don't want to wear. Or do any. But your outfit's cool. So it cleared your mind basically. Like you felt like you got more centered, more grounded from having the experience. Would you say?
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm certainly like of taking it in the right perspective, I guess, instead of sending myself in the wrong direction. I've sort of sent myself in the right direction. It's a bit strange. Also grew a beard. But, yeah, it was good fun. I shaved it off. But
fit in
I'm not really.
Love the beards up here, buddy.
Yeah.
Beards are popular here.
Very hip.
Yeah. Also
Beard
in
is the man-
Montana.
What was that? Sorry?
So,
I shaved this morning, though. I just have a lot of it pissed off. By the end of the show, it will be full.
Right. Yeah. He's like full of testosterone. So would you say that would you? I know. Here's a question I have about doing it. Do you think it matters what your state of mind is when you're doing the mushroom, or if you're seeking answers? Then that's what happens. Do you think that makes a difference on your experience?
I've noticed it can be as slight as eerie music. Do you know what I mean? Like a low tune music can really change the mind state of the trip. And like if you're playing really upbeat, like John Butler Trio or something like that, or Jack Johnson maybe, that's like puts you into like a real peaceful state of mind. It's just like maybe reggae even. Reggae is really good to listen to, I find, on shrooms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The better the mood, the better the trip will be. Because you got to negate the thoughts of negativity and just sort of like just keep happy. And by the time your trip's over, you'll just be tired and you just go to sleep, and you wouldn't have had any stage of the trip that was, confusing or just like not a good trip that you don't want. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you have shrooms like one day and then have them again the next day, that's going to like deplete whatever vitamins is making you happy, and whatever system keeps you happy will be depleted, and then you'll start having bad trips, and so you got to lay off it for a while,
Right. The artificial ways they're temporary.
Yeah.
You can get a mindset though, because now our minds have all these grooves in them. We're used to doing certain things, but if you can clean that mind up and set a new groove and say, okay, here's my new groove and then choose the groove, and then really meditate on that, you can go beyond it. But I see where if you were doing like some mushrooms in a situation like outdoors in the woods with fire,
That's what I did.
Yeah, you don't want
I did it outdoor. I mean, I took it. We're actually going to run over a little bit longer on the show if everybody doesn't mind. 3 minutes. All right. We really don't have to like end right away. I mean, Rupert Declo. I mean, if we could go like a little bit longer. You want to? Okay, Rupert Declo has stuff to do. He's hungry and he has to. He said. Rupert Declo gave me a note saying I have to like do some mushrooms to get through the next show. So.
We're gonna go have a Vegemite sandwich.
But so we do have about 3 minutes to actually wrap it up here. But I did a little canoe to the fire and I wanted it to be in nature. I wanted to be connected to the earth and to have like this. Experience to kind of delve into myself, and I did have a lot of positive things happen from it myself too as well. Kate, guys, I really want to appreciate you for calling in, and I know that you guys are, it's good to see that there are people who support the legalization of marijuana in Australia, and also to see that people smoke in the parts of the country. And my belief is that cannabis some way connects us all together globally in a positive way. So
it does.
It does, doesn't it? So you guys have a great, you guys have a fabulous. What time is it there right now?
11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, now we've got to go to work. Yeah.
Oh, now you got to go to work. Well, have a great day at work.
Did you wake and bake today?
Did you wake and bake today?
Damn right, of course. Of course.
Awesome.
I made the phone call with that.
Great. Well, I will make sure that I give Tyler a copy of this interview so you guys can have your own personal video of this. And thank you so much. Peace.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Peace. Love and unity.
Love and unity.
See you later.
Oh. Yeah. So that was Tyler Flack, and was it Jack? Jack, Kangaroo Jack from Australia, calling in.
You call that
So that's our show today. Whether you use cannabis mushrooms medicinally, use it for a special insight, remember that we don't need them to get connected to our higher self. That actually comes from our own person. But these plants may have some involvement on the evolution and opening up and waking our consciousness. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.